Neurodegenerative disorders. Neurodegenerative disorders are the neural diseases or the disorders where you can see that the atrophy of the neuronal tissues taking place in the central nervous system, any specific part of the central nervous system. Like typical examples of your neurodegenerative examples, you can take it as a Parkinson's disease, where you can see that the dopaminergic neurons is getting stimulated in the substantia nigra pars compacta. Or you can take another example like Alzheimer's disease. You can take examples like there is a loss of neurons in the anterior cortex and hippocampus, which is basically concerned with your limbic system that is responsible for cognitive memory as well as emotions. Third one is Huntington's disease, where you can see that the governor's neurons in the striatum is getting degenerative. These neurodegenerative disorders are characterized by the presence of Lewy bodies. The Lewy bodies are nothing but the presence of the inclusion bodies in the neural cells, which are the defining features of these neurodegenerative disorders. And these neurodegenerative disorders are commonly seen in elderly patients. Also nowadays you can be seen in the younger onset also. Among these neurodegenerative disorders, we are going to discuss regarding the Parkinson's disease. Parkinson's disease is the second most prevalent neurodegenerative disorder after the Alzheimer's disease, affecting mostly the elder patients, specifically in male patients. You can see that the Parkinson's disease is usually occurring as a ratio of, you can say it as 3:2. So in Parkinson's disease, basically the dopaminergic neurons which are responsible for initiating the movements of the skeletal movements, which are responsible for initiating the skeletal movements, is getting degenerated. So Parkinson's disease usually appears in the later stages of their life, because during the younger onset of diseases, during the younger course of the diseases, we see that the disease is not generally apparent, because until and unless there is a 70 to 80% of the neuron degeneration in the substantia nigra pars compacta, you are not going to see any type of the symptomatic symptoms in the patients. So by the time you diagnose the patient, already 70 to 80% of the neurons already got atrophied or degenerated. So we will see just here about the pathophysiology. Before understanding the pathophysiology, basic things are that, like before initiating the movement, first your thoughts has to come from your prefrontal cortex. So from your prefrontal cortex, it has to move, the impulse has to be sent to the premotor cortex. From the premotor cortex, it has to go to the primary motor cortex. From primary motor cortex, it has to go to the supplementary motor area. In the supplementary motor area, it is going to demand for the motor actions from the basal ganglia. This basal ganglia usually consists of the nuclei. Nuclei are nothing but the collections of the cell bodies where you are actual motor programs are being stored. Motor programs in the sense it can be walking, running, handshaking, anything. So this is basically basal ganglia or the components of the basal ganglia. So whenever you thought of initiating a movement, the cortex will send an impulses to the substantia nigra pars compacta through a neurotransmitter called as a. This glutamine is basically excitotoxic kind of a neurotransmitter. So whenever the neurotransmitter glutamine is being released on the substantia nigra pars compacta, these are basically dopaminergic neurons. So whenever the glutamine is being released in the substantia nigra pars compacta, the resting memory potential of the dopaminergic neurons moves to the threshold potential. So only upon reaching the threshold potential, we call it as the EPSP, that is excitative postsynaptic potential. Only upon reaching the excitative postsynaptic potential, whatever the impulses are getting received by the substantia nigra pars compacta are going to be get executed. In the sense, whenever they are going to be get activated or executed, they are going to release the dopamine. So in the striatum in the sense, here it is glutamine and this caudate. Glutamine and caudate are the nothing but the nuclei. We collectively called glutamine and the caudate, basically nuclei, where actually your motor programs are being stored. So we collectively call it as a striatum. So whenever the dopamine comes into the striatum, it first act on the D1 receptors. D1 receptors are basically GS stimulatory receptors, GPCR. So GS stimulatory receptors. And before going to the in the striatum, we have two types of neurons. First one is interneurons, which are basically cholinergic. Second one is projectional neurons, which are basically GABAergic. So whenever the dopamine is going to come into the striatum, it is going to act on the progesterone neurons. These progesterone neurons are the neurons of the striatum, which are responsible for connecting the other components of all the basal ganglia. Whereas the interneurons are limited itself into the striatum. They are not coming out of the striatum structure. So whenever the dopamine comes act on the progesterone neurons, the D1 receptors, it is going to stimulate the dopamine. It is going to stimulate the dopamine receptor, D1 receptor. As a result of which, as the neurons are GABAergic neurons, they are going to release the GABAergic neurons here. So GABAergic neurons, unlike the glutamatergic neurotransmitters, these are not excitatory. These are basically inhibitory because whenever the GABAergic neurons are being activated, they are going to release the GABA neurotransmitter, and these GABA neurotransmitters are going to act upon the substantia nigra pars reticulata and the globus pallidus interna, which are also the components of the basal ganglia. So whenever the GABAergic neurons are being released, neurotransmitters are being released, the neurons in the substantia nigra pars compacta and the globus pallidus interna are going to get hyperpolarized. In the sense, whenever the GABAergic neuron is released, the chloride channels inside the neurons will going to get opened. As a result of which, instead of shooting into the threshold membrane potential, it is going below the resting membrane potential. As a result of which, whatever the impulses that are coming from the striatum is not going to get executed. As a result of which, these neurons are being activated by the hyperpolarization state. So whenever this hyperpolarization state takes place, they will not release the GABAergic neurons on the thalamus. To be specifically, ventral anterior and ventral lateral after thalamus. As a result of which, you will see that here EPSP, that is excited post-hand potential, is going to dominate. As a result of which, you will see that the glutamatergic neurons are being released from the glutamatergic neurotransmitters are being released from the thalamus, which are going to be act upon your cortex. Then refinement of your process of refinement of your movements is going to take place. Then through the pyramidal and ectopyramidal pathway to spinal cord, where it is going to get snapped with the ventral area, motor neurons coming out of the spinal cord and reaching to the muscles, and they will going to initiate the pathway. So this is what we call it as a direct pathway. So the net result of your direct pathway activation is to initiate the movement, any sort of a skeletal movement. Second, so whenever the dopamine is being released, it also acts on the D2 receptors. D2 receptors, unlike D1 receptors, these are GI inhibitory receptors. So whenever the dopamine is going to act on the D2 receptor, here IPSC, that is inhibitory postsynaptic potential is going to get dominated. As a result of which, you will see that the progesterone neuron coming out of the striatum connecting to the globus pallidus externa is being inhibited. So whenever the GABAergic neurons are being inhibited from coming into the globus pallidus externa, here the activation of the globus pallidus externa neurons will take place, because if suppose the GABA was released into it to the hyperpolarization process, it should have caused the deactivation. Unfortunately, this D2 receptors is a GI inhibitors. As a result of which, the progesterone neurons are never going to get activated. So they are never going to execute the GABAergic neurotransmitter to be released on the globus pallidus externa. As a result of which, you will see the globus pallidus be activated. As a result of which, here the progesterone neurons coming out of the globus pallida sexternum will fire the GABA neurotransmitter. So GABA neurotransmitter is going to again cause the hyperpolarization and going to inhibit the neurons in the subthalamus nucleus. Due to which you will see that the glutamatic neurotransmitter that are being released from the subthalamic nucleus onto the globus pallidus interna is being inhibited. So this is what then again here again we fire it's going to inhibit the GABAergic neurons leading into the thalamus. So it is also going to fire the glutamatic neurons. So this is how the actually whole initiation of the movements will actually take place in your central nervous system. So basically there is a balance between the direct and the indirect pathway in the basal ganglia. And one more thing, here we also discussed about the interneurons. Interneurons are cholinergic neurons. Cholinergic neurons are basically concerned with setting the tone of your initiated movements. So there should be a balance between the direct and the indirect pathway as well as the cholinergic and the dopaminergic pathways. Balance should be there. But in case of Parkinson's disease, what happens? The substantia nigra first compacta neurons are being destroyed. We will discuss it shortly after why it is being destroyed. But whenever it is being destroyed, you will see that no dopamine is being released onto the striatum. So whenever striatum dopamine is being not released, the GI stimulator is not going to take place. As a result of which, you will not see the GABA being released into the globus pallidus interna. So if it is not being inhibited, so it is going to here EPSP going to get dominated. So it releases the GABA. So GABA will inhibit the thalamus from being firing the glutamatic neurons, glutamatic neurotransmitters to the cortex. As a result of which, you will see that the action potential being lost. Then, so if dopamine is not being released, here the dopamine B2 receptors will unnecessarily is not being inhibited. So as a result of which, you will see that instead of being where you need to find that without releasing the GABA, that is EPSP has to be dominated. Unfortunately, here IPSP dominates. As a result of which, you will see the GABAergic neurons neurotransmitter being released into the globus pallidus externa. So whenever this is going to globus pallidus externa is being deactivated to hyperpolarization, it is not going to release the subthalamus. It is not going to release the GABA. So as a result of which, it is not going to get deactivated. So when it is not getting deactivated, it is going to release the glutamatergic pathway. So whenever the glutamatergic pathway is going to get activated, it is going to deactivate this pathway. So when it activates pathway, this GABA neurotransmitter is being released. When this GABA transmitter is released, this is going to get deactivated. So whenever this is going to get deactivated, glutamatic neurotransmitters are not being released. As a result of which, you will see that the imbalance between the initiating movements and inhibiting of the movements. So this is basically balance between the indirect and the direct pathway. And the second thing is, the cholinergic neurons will continuously keep on stimulating the striatum. As a result of which, you will see the tremors in the patients because they are sending the impulses to the flexural extensions of your skeletal muscles. So when they are trying to compensate each other's actions, that eventually results in the tremors kinds of actions in the patients. So this is regarding the pathology. Clinical presentation of the Parkinson's disease. First, the most prominent feature that has to be present in the Parkinson's disease patient is the bradykinesia. This bradykinesia are nothing but the difficulty initiating the movements because dopamine is not there in the nigrostriatal pathway. So when nigrostriatal pathway does not transmit in the dopamine, it is very difficult for them to initiate the movement. With a great will, they have to initiate the movement. Even if they have initiated the movement, stopping that movement is also becomes very complex for them. So that is what actually the bradykinesia, which is considered to be the prerequisite feature for the diagnosis of the Parkinson's disease. Second one is tremor. Tremors will be there. That is, either they are doing some activities or not activities, irrespective of their state. They will always shaking their hands or tremors will also be there. Around 4 to 6 hearts will be there. We typically call it as a field rolling tremor or restraint tremor. And then third one is Fog wheel rigidity. Fog wheel rigidity is nothing but the jerky resistance of the limbs movements. So we will see that the patient is always have a finds a difficulty in initiating more lower limbs movements. Those are because of they require a higher amount of the neurotransmitters and exactly potential has to be more of them. So it is quite very difficult for them to do lower limbs movements, especially the heavy muscle movements, skeletal movements. And the fourth one, you can say it as a hypomania, or you can say as mask. Again, but their facial, they don't have any sort of facial expression. Basically, expressionless faces will also be there. Because in order to smile and to show any emotion, your skeletal muscle, your facial muscle has to be just stretched to a little bit extra. So for them, it is so they will see, I will see the mask like kind of they will not show any sort of emotion. Then hypophonia. You see the atrophy of their facial muscles, a lot of which you see that the facial volume of the is going to get reduced. That is what actually is happening. Then is monotonous speech. Monotonous speech, like they hardly speak any one few words. They will not keep their words continuing in sentence manner. One by one word, they will going to be explaining to them. That is what actually monotonous speech. Then postural instability. The postural instability is considered to be a milestone in the Parkinson's disease that usually develops around 10 years after the diagnosis. You will see that the patient is getting deformity in their skeletal system. Like they will be screwed to posture will be there, and they will find difficulty without assistance. They will not able to walk. They need some of the other help, and then like sticks. Without the stick, they will not able to walk. And this postural scoop, because of the scoop structure, you see that the reflexes of their movements also getting impaired. As a result of this, there will be a impaired gaze. So impaired gaze eventually with even slight touch or instant like even slight slip also, they will not able to walk on their toes. So you see that most of the reasons for the rehospitalization of the cancer Parkinson disease will actually go to the fall circulation. Then micrographia. Micrographia is nothing but the typical stereotypic of doctor's handwriting. Like asymmetric handwriting will be there. Like when they start sentences, they will have the big letters. Eventually, when the sentence going to end up, they will end up with some 000 forms of typical structures. That's what actually called as micrographia. These are all the motor symptoms. That is, has to be prominently present in the Parkinson's disease patient prior to the diagnosis of the disease. So we will discuss regarding some non-motor symptoms. So non-motor symptoms usually consist of derangements in the autonomic nervous system, psychiatric system, as well as there in the cognitive system. So major autonomic problems they are facing is usually the orthostatic hypotension. As I said that because of this cuckoo structure, the reflexes are not much more superior. As a result of which, even with the change in their position, they will also have some giddiness, vertigo, blackouts will also be there. The first one is autophagy. Second one is constipation. Constipation will denote any type of pathological structure present in the enteral nervous system. Because since to certain extent we can influence the enteral nervous system to the autonomic nervous system, we can see that the constipation is being present before the onset of the disease. It may be present as much as 5 to 10 years before the diagnosis of the patient. The constipation may be the present, and even after the diagnosis, it may persist towards the life. So the patients are already always advised to have the rich diet fibers. You can handle their constipations. Then coming to the psychiatric problem, around 40% of the patients will be depression. They will be always depressed. This is considered to be a major stress reliever for the caretakers of the patients. And then you will see that there is a hallucination also. Hallucination, and paranoid ideation. These like visual misinterpretation. Visual misinterpretation will be very common among the Parkinson's disease patients. That is basically hallucination. Paranoid ideation, nothing but some sort of destructive, distorted thoughts in their minds. That's what actually triggering in these patients' psychiatric problems. So even when patients complain about some sort of these kinds of complaints, if the patient is on any sort of an dopaminergic agonist, they can exacerbate this existing condition. So better to discontinue whenever you find this kind of symptoms. Cognitive impairment. So cognitive impairment is usually present at a mind during the time of the diagnosis. But frank dementia is going to be developed over the later stages of the disease process, depending upon the patient's age. If the patient is having the Parkinson's disease on a younger onset, you will see that the progression of the cognitive impairment to frank dementia is going to take place at a very slow rate. But if it is an elder person, it is going to take at a rapid rate. Then they will want to have the sleep disorders. Like they will particularly have a problem in rapid eye movement phase of your sleep cycle. That is also one of the prominent of psychiatric problems in those patients. And patient may also even complain regarding the restless leg syndrome. They will also pain, always pain they will be there, or some kind of stinging sensation will also be there. They always complain about some kind of stinging sensation in their limbs. So these are also actually the non-symptoms of non-motor symptoms that can be seen in the Parkinson's disease. Then we will see regarding the diagnosis. Whenever the patient is actually presenting at a younger onset, better to go with some number of investigations so that you can narrow your choices between essential tremors as well as the Parkinson's. That is the most important factor when you diagnose the Parkinson's. Like as in the hypertension, how we diagnose the patient like ambulatory or blood monitoring will be there. Here we also consider so that we can narrow our choices between the essential tremors and the Parkinson's. If the patient is having the younger onset of disease, consider the copper studies. Copper studies as well as some DNA testing can be carried out in them in order to rule out some other kinds of neurodegenerative disorders like Huntington's disease or the Wilson disease. Second, you can carry out the CT of the brain. That is possible to rule out the hydrocephalus presence in the ventricles. Especially the third ventricles usually contain these kinds of diseases. Then you can even perform the electrocardiograph, or you can even perform the MRI for them, so that you can narrow your choices between the essential tremors and the Parkinson's disease. Now you have already narrowed your choices. So you need to differentiate in between the essential tremors and the Parkinson's disease. So in that case, you are going to employ one technique called as that is basically 2-beta carboxymethoxy, 3-hydroxyphenol, 4-beta propane technique. That is usually performed in a single photon emission spectroscopy. This technique is specific for identifying any sort of microspherical degeneration in the basal ganglia. So it will help you finally to diagnose the Parkinson's disease patients.